I'm a licensed psychologist in Rhode Island, and I specialize in the treatment of anxiety and depression. So because therapy is now delivered virtually, a lot of people, they have maybe hesitations around like how that will work and whether or not that's something that's actually widely accessible, because maybe they had a therapist in the past, but they have never been offered tailored therapy, is usually what we call it. So they might not be aware that their therapist now has actually moved into the virtual space. I think the biggest sort of mental health problem right now is just the tremendous uncertainty that surrounds all of this. We just simply lack the protocol for how should we go about this? Like, what should we do? How should we feel? How are we making decisions? All of that, we just don't know. And we really look for structure and for guidance. So, definitely the uncertainty is a really big factor here that drives anxiety and depression. Depression is also related just to the negativity of how the narrative is delivered to us, right? It's everything is very fatalistic, very doomed. If you watch too much media, if you read the comments on social media, we can definitely feel quite low about where is all of this going. And then on the other hand, it's definitely the social isolation, right? That is something that can make a lot of people feel really negatively about themselves and about how they relate to others. Simply lacking productivity can increase depression. All of that has increased tremendously for most people. So now that some people find themselves with a lot of time on their hands, it can be really hard to sit with that you cannot busy yourself to the point of forgetting every day, all day. You find the right therapist or psychologist, they will help you identify where the problems are and how you can find relief. You can create a happy life in spite of depression, right? So letting go of that idea that I can never be happy because I have depression really needs to be reframed into I can be happy in spite of depression. Try to meditate every day. There is so much evidence that shows how meditation can help us reduce anxiety and also help with depression. And those are fMRI studies that look at the brain that show that, yes, having a good meditation practice can really go a long way. It's always nice to actually having to formulate a thought, because a lot of that stuff is so automatic in the back of our heads that we might not be very conscious that we're holding on to some beliefs that are not working for us. So having to sit down and really explain to someone what's going on can be very eye-opening. And this is why a lot of psychologists, they don't necessarily say as much. They really just let you sort of do a lot of the self-discovery work, which works great for a lot of people. And then some people, they need more prompting and more directive approaches to really get there. But that formulation alone is very very helpful in sort of understanding, I guess I can see how something that's happening here is related to something that's happening there. So it's also nice to have just someone's opinion and a fresh perspective, helping you understand a little bit, even just with some questions. And I know it doesn't matter what happened. I cannot tell you whether this is the right decision for you to make at this point of your life. It might definitely be the right thing to do for your neighbor or for your friend, but it may not be the thing that's going to make you happy. It's going to make you feel like you're living a meaningful life. So nobody can really give you the answers, but we can definitely work together to get there until you feel like you absolutely know what you want, and you can make a deliberate decision and then really stick to it. And obviously also adapt if needed, but knowing that you're thriving and not just getting by. But anybody who wants to have tailored therapy can get a phone call. I'm always, even when I don't have available sessions, I really like to give people resources where to find a therapist, because I know it's actually really hard to find a therapist, because there's people sometimes don't even know what to ask. And a lot of people, a lot of therapists, they don't offer a free like first phone consultation, so people feel like they're kind of pressured to book a session when they're not really sure whether it's a good fit or the approach suits them. So I really like to help people find a therapist and give them resources, make them understand that they don't have to understand like every last ramification of psychology in order to find a good therapist, because that is what studies show is one of the biggest predictors for therapeutic outcome, is how committed you are to therapy, and to sort of like continue therapy, and the fit between therapists and clients is very, very important. On my website, there's a blog post about how to find a therapist near you. That can be a really great place to start, because in there are also the different questions you should absolutely ask your therapist on the phone before your first session, right? And if your therapist doesn't take time for that, it's probably not the right fit. It probably isn't. I really wish that a lot of people would have a regular routine of checking with themselves, or even thinking about overcoming their inner sort of doubt and stigma to talking to a therapist, which is still very much a thing for a lot of people. So I really hope that we can have conversations like that make people understand, finding a therapist is it's not something that is, extraordinary. It's actually really quite normal, and a lot of people have very good, trusting relationships with their therapists that last for many years.